So with math notebooking, it's a little different compared to the math journaling, as mentioned before. With math notebooking, it's more of for note-taking and for instructional lessons where the students are following along with you. Not so much for assessing or the other points that we mentioned with journaling. This is probably my absolute favorite tool in my classroom and something that my parents absolutely love. I like to call our math notebooks in our class our modern day study guides, and I talk to my students about how, once they get into third grade, they'll be taking these EOGs, and you have to study for these tests, and you have to take notes and be prepared and learn how to study, learn how to take notes. This is kind of early training for that, even though they are in first grade. It always comes in handy. And parents love this at home. It helps them with homework. It helps parents help the students study. So when they go home, I have my students explain to their parents the step-by-step instructions for each of these problems and strategies. And the parents are now learning, the students are reviewing, and it becomes a study guide. They can go back and study it. Did I do it the correct way? Did I show my work the correct way? Would this be an acceptable answer? So it's a great tool all around for the classroom. So I'm having to cut this one a little bit short because of time limitations, but I wanted to show you some examples. I tried to get some upper grades since the other ones were lower grades. So this is an example of one foldable that you could do into your math notebook. This is simply a cube, and they are talking about volume, surface area, vertices, all 3D shapes. And they have this all recorded in their math notebook to review later. This is talking about the different types of angles. What I love about this is they have their learning goal written at the top that they've discussed in class. They have a moving angle that they can move and practice with. And then they have little flaps that come out and define acute, right, obtuse, and straight angles in their notebook to come back and review. This one here is talking about data management. They have a set of data, and they're talking about organizing data. This is a foldable that has 4 flaps to it with mean, median, range, and mode. And they flip them open. On one side it defines what a mean, median, mode, and range are, and in the middle has an example with a set of data. The place value columns here has numbers with highlighted areas that they are looking at place values. You flip it open, it tells you what place that is highlighted. It is the tens, the tenths, the hundredths, whatever place value it is. Great for review in their notebooks. This one here is a square with 4 flaps. This is 2 examples of the same thing. That's multiplication, subtraction, addition, and division. When they open up the flaps, they have the definition, again, and an example to show how they solved it. Another great review and foldable for a notebook. So as you can see, something that's very big in math notebooking are foldables, and that is just simply like pop-up papers that you put into your journals. This makes it interesting, this makes it engaging for your students, and it also makes it a great way to study. They're very fun to make, and it's also a great instruction as you're making them with your students. So there are tons and tons of types of foldables out there. And that will be another part of my PD session that I would be teaching, are the different foldables, talking about how you can use the different foldables in different ways to modify them for different grade levels. So I just wanted to go over some foldables with you. I know that, like I said, there's a ton of foldables, so I just wanted to show you my 3 favorite that I use in my classroom. So I usually use colored paper for their foldables because you want it to stand out from their regular notebook paper, but you want to use light colors because if you use dark colors you're not going to be able to really see the writing over it. So I have just a yellow piece of paper here. So to start out, you simply fold the paper into 4ths. Like so. Then you're going to unfold your paper, and this top This would be my top left square or rectangle you're going to cut out, and you just cut on the line of the fold. And this will actually make two different types of foldables. So it's great to save it so you can use it later if you want to use the other foldable. So leave this for your next foldable. Right now you should just have your rectangle. So then you're going to fold this until you have a little bit of the flap left over. You can see how it doesn't go all the way down, it folded all the way down. And you're going to fold that bottom part that was left over up. So it looks like this. Has a little flap here where I folded it up. Then you're going to cut this in half. I can find my scissors right there. And you should have two of these now. And these are used for flashcards or other types of foldables in your notebook. I mainly use them for flashcards. The kids love them. This kind of keeps the flashcard down so they're not waving around and get messed up in their journal. So when they want to do it, they just slip it open like so. So an example for these, we did doubles, addition double flashcards in my classroom. So I simply flap it down. 6 plus 6 is 12. And that's something that they can practice with at home, practicing those doubles, getting them memorized. Another way that you can do this is when we were talking about comparing numbers, I have less than, greater than, equal to. In their actual journal, they would have written a problem like 7 and 14. Glue this in the middle. When they're studying, flap it open. 7 is less than 14. So that is one foldable that you can use. So we have this left over. This folds down, and you would just glue this into their notebook. And I made an example for you. I put their I can statement on one side. It says I can subtract using a picture. We were talking about different manipulatives and different strategies for subtracting. Over here I have the problem that we're working with. It says Sally had 3 cookies. She ate 1 cookie. How many cookies does Sally have left? So then flap it open. They have the picture and the strategy on top. Drew 3 cookies, marked out 1. The bottom has the equation that they used, 3 minus 1 equals 2. And then the answer in a complete sentence, because we're working on that. Sally has 2 cookies left. So that is a foldable that's great because it doesn't tell you everything right away. So when they're explaining it to their parents, they can talk about, well, say, how could you solve this? How do you show a picture to solve subtraction? And then check themselves. So that's another great study guide. The last one I have is simply the accordion fold. So you just take a small strip of paper and you just fold it accordion style, back and forth. This is really great. One of the subtraction strategies we used was using a number line and jumping back on a number line. So what I did is I actually printed out small number lines, and they folded them accordion style so that in their notebook they can just pull it out and check the number line that they've written on the hops back to see if they did the subtraction problem correctly. Another good way for the accordion style foldable is if you have numbers at the top and you say, can you put these numbers in order from least to greatest? Then to check themselves, they'll pull out the accordion and see the answer will be written here with the numbers in the correct order and check their work. So quickly, that is just 3 of the foldables that I use a lot in my math notebooks, and they were my favorite foldables. But there are millions of foldables out here, and I could not take the time. I went to it was probably a 2.5-hour workshop on just foldables to use in math journals. So they're out there if you look at, and not only can you use these in math, but you can also use them in other subjects. We also use them in science and in our science notebooks. So I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.